Good morning, my people. I am in a really quandary as the funerals are still going on. There was a lot of things that I thought I wanted to talk about. And I'm going to, what I'm going to do. I got to, first of all, let me go and try to tag some of my friends. And I'm going to get into this conversation. I looked at some identical twins this morning. I don't know if you guys see them, the Hog twins. They're black, they're light skinned, green eyed brothers, HODGE twins. Look them up. Man, we are so our community is really in shambles. You know, the Willie Lynch syndrome is so deep embedded in us that we can't get out of our own way sometimes. And I'm really conflicted with the amount of over the top as far as I'm concerned. I don't want anybody to take this out of context. But I think that we cut off our nose to spite our face. All right, I'm gonna stop tagging and get into this conversation because this and trust me, this is no disrespect for Floyd George. It doesn't take anything away from how he was killed. That's going to be dealt with probably after the elections, because Trump is going to try to use as much of it as he can, because now y'all gave him a bone. Defund the police. Now, remember, if any of you guys looked at my my heading on my page, I wrote on there we get mixed up with semantics. Whether you are lynched, shot, drowned, if you're murdered by a mob, that's all lynching is. So how, if you don't see a rope and you get caught up in the fact that it's not a rope, so you say it's not lynching, and why black people saying lynching, then you're not looking at the issue. The issue is being killed by a mob. It's not how you died, it's the fact you died. So we're getting caught up in defund the police. What is defund the police? Are they saying Trump is going to try to convince white Americans that you want every police officer fired and have no more no police department, and we're going to have no, so he's the law and order president, and you're going to hand over this election to him if you keep telling people that we're not going to have any order. What you're saying is we're playing with semantics. You're saying I'd rather hire more people to patrol a community rather than to put money in that community that benefits the people in the community. You understand what I'm saying? It's not, you don't need more police, you need more schools. So when I first became, and I'm going to give this as probably the best scenario, because I don't want to make this long and emotional. When I first became a public defender, it was after being a teacher. And I wanted to go into law. I wanted to be a teacher. I was ride or die, I wanted to be a teacher. I have a master's in sign language. And we grew up next to Andy and Keith down in Bedford. And their mom had 4 sons. Every other son was deaf. Keith was my age. Andy was my sister's best friend. But every other son was deaf. The one my age was deaf. The one who's my sister's age wasn't. The next son was deaf. And the next son wasn't. It was amazing to me. But I got sent down south through my, every summer, to be with my mom. And I didn't like the South. So I became friends with the deaf boy. So being friends with the deaf boy, I learned how to sign. So, I knew how to sign all the way from a little girl all the way up to college. And so I majored in deafness rehabilitation. I wanted to be a deafness teacher because I remember Keith had to be sent away every year. And I said, children shouldn't have to be sent away. So I was making a stance. And then I went to Africa, and children that were deaf or had any deformities, those children were, sometimes the umbilical cords were cut, or they were put off like they had some kind of disease because they couldn't hear just because they couldn't hear. So it was important for me to learn sign language. And then when I became a teacher, I saw that students weren't coming back to school because if I saw a mother was called by DIFUS, and that is when that's why I'm writing this book, In Your House, the Courthouse, or the Jailhouse. And I'm not trying to plug the book, but that's the process of my thinking as I watched this thing with George Floyd, because George Floyd's case should not have this much publicity. Why? He is just the modern day Emmett Till. So I became a teacher because I'm watching black boys not come back to school. So I wanted to go to law school to try to help them get good lawyers if they didn't think that they were going to get sold out. I only applied to one job. If I didn't get that job, I was going back to teaching. I applied for one job. I did not become a lawyer because rich. I became a lawyer to try to save black boys that wouldn't come back to school when I was a teacher. I applied one job, public defender's office. At that time, Caraballo, which was my criminal law teacher, he was the head of the public defender's office. Boom. And I didn't even, when I graduated from law school, I only needed one more year to tenure as a teacher. I clerked for Judge Tolentino. I went back to the Jersey City school system that was run by the state at the time and got my tenure as a teacher. Then I took the position at the public defender's office. So I'm conflicted, man, because I have changed my life to try to do better for knowing that I could have gone and worked Wall Street. I did 2 white firm interviews that I could have made 10 times the money I made as a public defender. But they asked me, they sent me, made sure I went to lunch with maybe only black person in the firm, and asked me about my hair, because my hair had been locked a long time. And whenever I got that hair thing, I was like, oh. So public defender, I wore African attire every day. I had head wraps on, because in the public defender's office, they wasn't caring about you repping for your black folks. So I'd rather work for the public defender's office and stay black than to take that job over there because I had to fry and dye my hair. So where are you going, Takwase? I am so conflicted about you putting this man in the grave with 3 funerals, a gold casket, and while you doing this, black men are still getting killed. Then we're going to throw in this defund the police as if we're going to take away the police. No, put your money in educating black kids. You can put that, that man is still dead, whether he's in a gold box or a pine box. And I'm looking at these goddamn hog twins. Who the hell, please, y'all go over there. I was going to put them on the page, and I'm like, they identical twin. They the yellow, light skin, green eye, curly hair. They wouldn't look in my direction. I'm too black. I'm conflicted. Did we have to have another Emmett Till in 2020? Have the whole world come and look at this man dead for us to realize that we shouldn't be shot? There is a gobs of Floyd Georges in America. But we get lost in all of the sparkly, because eventually it's going to tap down. And we're not going to have no job, because ain't no, you know why people can go out and be in the streets for weeks and weeks, 14 straight days of rioting? Because nobody has no job, nobody's at work, nobody's in school. Half the people are infected with a pandemic, and we're going to realize it somewhere in November. And all we got to know and remember about is we tore up the whole country because, again, we playing with this term, Black Lives Matter. Well, you know what? The fact that all lives matter should be apparent. We should not have to say Black Lives Matter. And for those of you who get offended, even black people, I'm like, what the? All people, yeah, all people's lives matter, but you don't act like that. That's not how we living. We ain't living where all people's lives matter. I was telling you about the arrest of this white lady that she got stopped by the police because she had a broken tail light. And he goes up to her, he says, hello, ma'am. Yeah, I see you got a broken tail light there. She says, oh yeah, it's been broke like that for a while now. It's been about 6 months or so. He said, 6 months? Then he looks at her driver's license and he sees her name. Oh, you related to so-and-so Wiley? Yeah, that's my son. That's my son. Okay, he said, all right, what's taking you so long about getting this fixed? Well, I just didn't have time. I got stuff to do with my money, and that thing cost me that's gonna cost like $280 to get that fixed. So he went back to his car. I'm gonna do this fast. He came back, he gave her the ticket. She said, what you give me a ticket for? I'm not paying no ticket. He says, ma'am, you said you didn't have the car fixed for, 8 months. That's a long time to have a broken tail light. He said, you got to sign a ticket. I'm not signing no ticket. Ma'am, you got to sign the ticket. Now, this is a white man, a white lady. I'm not signing a ticket. She rolled up her window. He knocked on the window. She sped off in the car. So he runs back to his car. He chases her down. She's an older white lady. She stopped the car. And then he's like, get out of the car. Get out of the car. Now, first, he drew his taser. He never drew his weapon. He drew his taser. Then he put it back. She let the window down. I don't know what she thought about. He just went in, plopped the window open, pulled her up, and this white lady gonna tug and tug and tug. She rolled around. This man rolled around with this old white lady on this ground till he got her in the cuffs. And then he's like, all you had to do was hit. This man was damn near crying. All you had to do was sign the ticket to sign the ticket. And he was just crying. And he picked her up. He's like, my back hurt, because she was a heavy set lady, so she was on her stomach. She's like, oh, I'm hurting. So he took it his time to sit her up and leaned her up against his leg. And I think I told you about it. It was another white man and a black man that was in the gas station. They came out to see what's happening. They ever told them, stay away. Black people, you come to see somebody get arrested, we come up, stay away. The black man came over, get her, Miss so-and-so, it's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. He said, why you didn't just sign a ticket? He said, I didn't really think you was going to really give me a ticket. You know what I'm saying? Or do you remember the officer that stopped the white girl and she didn't want to take her hands off of the steering wheel because all she kept saying was black people get shot? And the white man said to her, there's a police officer, remember, we don't kill. You don't need to be scared. Remember, we don't kill white people. That's only niggers. Only niggers. Have you ever seen us shoot a white person? We only shoot niggers. Does he not know that his cam is still on? So when we hear Black Lives Matters and we do a week of a funeral for one man, there are thousands of Floyd Georges out there. And I know that family appreciate it, and I know somebody is going to put his kids through college. But does a man got to be, Black Lives Matter and all people get killed. I need somebody to please, so that I can get out my feelings, show me a video of black officers torturing a white man in cuffs, please. Show me that picture. Send me the site. Send me the site of a white officers strangling and beating down a white woman. Now, in the midst of these riots going on, you got a whole lot of, we got some aborigines going on with beating white folks in these riots, because these white folks out there riding with black folks. So as far as the right wingers, y'all are the same for these 14 days. For these 14 days, we all the same. But it's going to tap down. And we're going to be back to some sense of normalcy. And y'all going to expect that Biden's going to come out and going to be, boof, Jesus Christ. He's going to change the world because we all stuck together and we voted for Biden. Now, do we need to get 45? Do not get it twisted. We need his ass out there quick, fast, in a motherfreaking hurry. But what we cannot do is not use this time wisely. We should not have to have this fucking conversation again about the lives of human beings. White people, you cannot be pissed for dragging people to another country. If you had given us our 40 acres and a mule, we wouldn't be having this conversation. Because the most important thing in this country is to own property. With that mule, you can do hard work for yourself instead of being the mule. So we stop being the mule and stop working the plantation. Give us our 40 acres, our part of the plantation that we fucking built, that we grew your cotton or whatever the hell that particular plantation was doing. Parcel it up into the 40 acres that each one of us was supposed to get, and one mule. That one horse, that one strong horse, because a mule is work harder than a horse. So they may not be pretty, they may not be fast, but they work like hog dogs. So what I'm saying is, our 40 acres and a mule, we wouldn't even have this conversation. We wouldn't have people coming to this country from other countries being able to get loans before black people can get loans. We wouldn't have the biggest, but you know what the biggest problem is? There's so many things in my head, people. I'm all over the place. Right now, there's private prison systems that you got to keep people in order for these people to make money. See, here on the East Coast, West Coast, prison systems are they're owned by the state. So there's some system to it, even though they still put too much money into them also. But in the southern states where you elect your judges, so those elected judges get elected by the people who vote, and which is usually the white people. So your judges are white. Black people are in jail are black. And these private prisons must stay filled because we're going to give $600 to you to keep this man in a box. So we got to keep our boxes filled. So we got to keep prisoners. So we got to keep arresting them so we can keep the cycle of keep the money going into those people. Now the Arabs, they're going to come here. They're going to buy stores and they're going to buy property. And you're going to go to those stores and you're going to buy property. And the Chinese people, they're gonna get their Chinese food. They're gonna get their nail salons. They're gonna sell you hair because you're gonna get you gotta go get your hair did and new hair sewed in. So they're going to look and see what the Jew black people will buy because we will buy their shit. We ain't looking at who made nothing. We ain't not looking at if it's black made or who made it. Okay, so I'm not even about how you wear your hair and all of that. Where are we investing our money? We've just invested a few $1 million in one man's funeral that I am sure that his children would have loved to have their father rather than to see him buried in a gold casket. So I'm a little torn because you want him to go out honorable. You want him to go out even though you treat him like a dog. We watched the man lose his last breath. It's so many. I watched it last year. I watched this police run up on this man in South Carolina where you have open carry. The man had been in war. He came back. Not everybody come back from the military with all these scruples. And so he had a traumatic brain syndrome. So he didn't react very quickly. And his gun was in his pocket. And the officer, somebody called the police, so like 10, 12 officers, and his wife was running down the street. They all had their guns running. He never touched his gun. And the wife was behind him. And she was yelling, "Don't shoot, don't shoot." She was using I think, traumatic brain syndrome, TBD. And nobody was understanding what she was saying. But the husband knew that he heard his wife. So he turned. When he turned, every one of those officers, they loaded up the bullets in this man. In an open carry state. You didn't ask him why he's not answering. So it goes back to when I was a teacher of the deaf. If a person's not answering you, you don't know why they're not answering you. They could not hear. They may not be able to hear you. They may not be able to understand you. This man who had a traumatic brain syndrome, he didn't understand you. Your Amadou Diallos, we've been getting shot forever. And because, Amadou Diallo didn't get no gold casket, he's still dead. Remember Miss Bumpers in New York? With her cops, that lady was an old lady in New York. They beat her down. Eleanor Bumpers, that was her name. Hey, I don't know. Sandra Bland wouldn't put out a cigarette. So if y'all want to ask us how we're different, Sandra Bland wouldn't put out a cigarette. She wouldn't put out a cigarette. So this white officer felt it was necessary to arrest her because she wouldn't put out a cigarette. Really? She can't smoke a cigarette. So white man tell you put out your cigarette, even though it ain't against the law to smoke a cigarette. He gets to pull you out your car, throw you in a cell, and then somehow you just hang yourself and poof, nobody says nothing. Black people, we got some short ass memories. And when all of the hoopla goes down, and half of us got, besides the pre-existing condition of being black in America, that makes your life shorter anyway, that pre-existing condition is already, we're born with a pre-existing condition. Black skin is a pre-existing condition to black people. So if you go over there and look at them damn Hawk twins, I don't know who the hell they are. But we are some confused ass people. And that's that we can't settle this out with white people. All right? We need to get this system changed. Defunding the police doesn't mean we are not going to have police departments. What it means is we're not going to put so much money in people killing us as we less than we are educating us. Balance out the money. If you're going to put more money into the military than you put into the school systems and the colleges, and we would need historical black colleges if colleges got funded the same or everybody got the opportunity to go to college. If everybody got equality, then we would need to have all these separations and having to say black, having to say you went to a historical black college, having to have a historical black college because you wouldn't let us go to your college. So all of these separations have been made since the time we came off the boat. You separated us by color. You separated us by hair texture. You separated us by who came from what country. So if you didn't know that language, you didn't go with that language. You've been separating us since we got here, since 1619, and we're still trying to convince you that our lives matter. Our lives matter because you brought us here because we were strong enough to do the work that you didn't want to do. And then we got so funky. We got so hoity-toity. We didn't want to do it, and when we didn't have to do that work anymore, the Mexicans came over and did it, and got less pay. Because you ain't cleaning no toilet no more. If a Mexican do it, let them clean the toilet. Now, I ain't got to clean no toilet no more. I may not be working nowhere, but I ain't got to clean no toilet. Because trust and believe, there should be no reason why their fields are out there going, you can't pick all of these vegetables and fruits and everything and tell white people and white people complain they don't have no job. Do the work that the Mexicans did. Do that same work. If you don't want to stay out in those hot ass fields like we did for 200 years, because no, we ain't doing it no more. Like, I ain't doing it no more, and I'm not going to educate my child to do it no more. But if you really wanted a job and you have fields and fields of things to do, and you're not educated, but you can make a certain amount of hours, but what's going to happen is you're not going to be able to pay them like you pay the Mexicans. You got to pay them at least whatever the minimum wage is. So, am I going all over the place because there's 99 things in my head, and we're still at a Black Lives Matter, 401 years? And y'all wonder why we still have to tear shit up? Burn shit down? Because it shouldn't take 401 years to tell you that we are valuable. We know, we valuable. You ain't going to have no NFL. Okay, sons of bitches, they were sons of bitches, last year. But when y'all can't make no money off it, oh, goddamn, whatever the hell the commissioner name is. Okay, we need our niggers back. We need our niggers back. Come on now. We Black Lives Matter now. Get the freak out of here. Come on, we're just crazy. I don't know. I think we need to come to a point where we need to have a serious conversations and not these isolated chats. These isolated chats in the midst of emotion, and when all of everything died down, we forget. Floyd George would go in a book, like Emmett Till went in a book, like it's so many black people. When you can have a book full of people when you can have a museum filled with nooses, in honor of, not honor, but in recognition for white people need to see how we died. No, you know where the word picnic came from? Pick a nigga. They used to go pick niggas, hang them, and white people used to sit on their blankets with their food and their children on Sunday afternoon while you hung black people in these galleys. And like for my cousins who live in Lynchburg, you know why it's called Lynchburg. That's where they used to live, right where Liberty University is. So, what you talking about today, Takwasi? I'm conflicted. Because when all of the fascination of watching it. It kind of reminded me, you kind of, the fascination of watching a man die became for 14 days up to the day is the last funeral. And I can tell you this time next year, in the midst of it actually, black men are still getting killed. Are we going to have better schools? Are we going to have health care? We're going to be left with a whole lot of dead people from this pandemic. And a whole lot of broken families. My daughter lost a mentor at her school yesterday. And this is made by why I'm in my feelings. So this woman, when my daughter goes to school, is mostly white. She's an aerospace engineering major. And so, everybody ain't into aerospace engineering. She wanted to see that rocket go up. Rather than she didn't want to see the news. She wanted to see that rocket go off because that's her jam. And I wasn't going to force her to go and watch that. There was a time when they wouldn't even show that. I mean, there was a time when they wouldn't even show two people in the bed. Now you got to see people ass up in shows. We go to extremes. But we don't do any change. We still don't have enough black people in businesses that own their own business. You may have a job, but you're not an owner. That was my point I was making with the NFL. You can give these young boys, and they will work their asses off to be able to wear that flashy suit, wear that, drive that flashy car. But if they get hurt, they have no sustainable wealth. So what am I saying? Stop playing with the semantics, with the defunded the police. No, restructure how we use our police departments. When that Spanish guy out in Houston during the riots, and with another a white chief of police in New York, I watched them have conversation with people screaming and cursing. You know what they did? They did that reverse psychology mode. They went down, like Michelle do. You go when they go low, you go high. They let them scream and curse and scream and curse. And under normal circumstances, your ass would have been arrested in cuffs and thrown down and all around. But when they stopped and had a conversation, and those people saw those officers, those chiefs of police, one was a woman and one was a Spanish man, listen, they changed the narrative of the screaming and yelling and started to have a conversation. So that's how I'm going to end this today, because, I done went to 99 different places. We need to change the narrative so that we can change the conversation. We need to actually have an honest conversation about the deaths. Let's just have that once we can have an honest conversation that black people are dying at an enormously different rate by the police department than any other. Oh, y'all don't listen. You should just, because if you remember Floyd, his friend was saying, just get up. And he said, I can't, because he couldn't see the other people. And then he's saying to him, we can't win. Yeah, we can't win, Floyd, as he's dying. See, people, you don't even notice that conversation of two black men realizing we're in a no-win situation right now. We're in a no-win situation right now. And he didn't win. We clip that conversation out of the videos, and all we do is watch him die. The most important part of that video wasn't watching Floyd die. It was watching another black man watch a black man die, knowing that that's going to happen. Knowing already that it's very likely that my friend is going to die right now. And they didn't fail you. He died. So we are almost, white people are emotional, maybe because they had to see it at a loop, and maybe we had to show it at a loop, but we've seen it 99,000 times. But we're going to still die if you're not going to make any substantive change. After all of the funerals and gold caskets and, money, just, this is, yeah. I don't want one person to leave off this video and say that I'm being callous about a man's death, because that is not what I'm saying, and y'all be some lying mofos. What I'm saying is, this conversation it cannot stay around all of this publicity and he's painting his picture all over. All right, you painted his picture all over the place. Okay, there's going to be a time when Floyd George is going to be a year later. Where are we going to be next year this time? How many more black people do we have to kill because he's just another Emmett Till? We're still saying the same damn thing. That's all I'm saying, y'all. I'm going to actually go and do some work. I'm going to turn off the TV because I can't watch one more funeral. Because I know for every one of Floyd George's, there's going to be 100 more if we're not going to have a real serious conversation. And white folks are going to have to be able to take off the veil and look at it for what it is. Just pay us what you owe us. We worked years and years and years for no pay. If you just give me the back pay, give us back pay. You didn't give it to my grandparents. If you want to do some DNA, do DNA between the Africans that were slaves in this country and everybody else. Because those of us who are descendants of slaves, y'all owe us a whole lot of money. And the reason why I'm not about reparations, because everybody's going to jump on that bandwagon. Black women, we were the worst of the worst of the worst. But when women's liberation came, black women, we were out there, Ungawa Black Power, no benefit to black women. That should only benefit white women. And right now, I'm listening to the gays and lesbians and every other group that's going to jump on this Lives Matter thing. Bisexual. I don't give a damn about your sexuality. Don't whitewash the issue with your issue. Because don't make this a gay, lesbian issue. Don't make this nobody else. Let's stick with this issue about black lives. I'm not saying that. One of my daughter's best friends is transgender. Don't freaking go out and say that Taquazi is not talking about the transgender. But don't jump every time we get a conversation. Everybody else benefits off our conversation. But to start it out about us. You got people that came here voluntarily on that damn Statue of Liberty and gained all of this wealth. What about us? We were here. We didn't come here voluntarily. So, yeah. All right, y'all can turn me off because I'm just conflicted with how we will not, if we don't benefit out of another black man dying and we got to watch him on a loop die and y'all going to be all right with this. I don't know what to say. I may come back later on out of my feelings because I got work to do. But I was up, did my walk at 5, and I walked around and walked. I must have walked around. I looked up, it was almost 7 o'clock because I could not get out of my head that it takes this much. It takes this much of rioting and tearing up shit again. To try to convince folks that we matter. Damn! What the hell? And then next year, we're going to be, somebody else get killed? Or we going to do this thing? How many years? 401 years is enough. I'm done. It's got to be enough. Okay? It's got to be enough. Okay? This thing has got to stop. If y'all believe in everybody have arms, then give everybody a gun and let's battle it out then. You all about the Second Amendment? You got white folks who are living in bunkers. Look them up. I ain't got to tell you. They are already living in bunkers, preparing for this race war. Now we're up marching. They're living under the ground in bunkers. You better look at some of these goddamn sites. People are they got machine guns. They're practicing on goddamn tanks. How white people got tanks in Midwest, I do not know. But they are planning for this race war that they're trying to get. And every time we get into a situation where we dying, they preparing for the war. But we've been at war since we got here. I don't know where these descendants of these white folks, y'all planning for war. Y'all came here on your own. But you planning for a race war against us? We ain't do nothing. White people, y'all need to talk to other white people. Because the shit that was done, y'all did it to us. Now, we learned, what we did is we took it and we started doing it to each other. We started killing each other. See, because as long as y'all, you Crips and Bloods, y'all kill each other in your own block, they're going to let you kill yourself. Because you ain't going to tell me y'all don't know who shot Tupac. Yeah, I'm going to go there on you. Because if you start talking too much revolutionary shit, you will find yourself dead. Tupac, between all of the, the hard rap, Tupac was popping knowledge. And you pop too much knowledge on people, you can find yourself dead. Ask Martin. Ask Malcolm. See, when Muhammad Ali wouldn't go to war because he wasn't going to fight the white man's war, he did better than take a knee. He went to jail for what he stood for. Black folks, you ain't that hard no more. You ain't that hard no more. You ain't about to give up your new car, your gold chain, you could splat that money off. See, y'all don't know. This is tactical. You got to be tactical in what you do. You know why I like Cardi B? Cardi B ain't fake. She ain't got to be with her makeup all the time. She know when to wear it. But you know what? When you see Cardi B shaking that behind, Cardi B got asthma. When she stops to shake that behind, she trying to get a breath. She gonna get some water, but you gonna be distracted with watching her ass. And she knows exactly what she's doing. Calculated. That girl went from the pole to her goal. She just bought her $1 billion house and all the kids, and she's investing. She went from a pole to the front of Vogue. You can hate her if you want to. And then people, oh, she ain't black. Cardi B is Dominican, honey, with that hair, without all of the weaves on that hair. She got a whole bunch of nappy hair. And I don't get what shade of black she is. She's still black. She ain't no different than Beyonce. Beyonce said the same thing. She do, but she got it. She came from a mom and daddy, a little bit of class. They are the same in different elements. But we gonna break them up. We gonna make them different. We gonna make them separate. That's black people shit. That ain't white people shit. That's black people shit. We looking at each other color, light skin, dark skin. You know what I'm saying? Fat, skinny. So I'm having a conversation today, and I'm probably having a conversation with myself because I'm looking at a reflection of myself. I don't see anybody who's putting line, and I can't see you because I don't have any glasses on. I'm having a conversation with myself. I'm conflicted with myself of what I have looked at for the last 14 days in the last 58 years of my life. I will be 59 next month. And the same issues that my mother had being a black woman, the same issues I have being a black woman, even educated. We will sell each other out for a dime so that you can keep a position. We have no value. I just have so many issues that just are black conversations that is really, we need to have our own conversation, then a conversation with them. But while we having a conversation with them, y'all just need to pay up. Pay up and we'll shut up. Pay up and we'll shut up. Pay up. We done gave you enough. I'm not, if I still got to convince you that my life matter and then some white person going to convince you that everybody's life matter, I don't want this to be a gay issue. I don't want this to be a Jewish issue. I don't want this to be an everybody's lives issue because everybody ain't dying the way we die. So don't tell me that I can't say Black Lives Matter. And you freaking black people that have been convinced that black people died because they white people can resist and don't die. We can't go into the store where you can't be accosted by somebody, go back to your country. Go back to your country. I watched this white lady tell this Mexican girl who was born in America to go back to your country. Mother freaking Texas used to be Mexico, goddamn it. If you want to really just do some history, California used to be Mexico. Yeah. I know I got too much gray matter. But, I'm not ashamed. I read a lot, I know a lot. And I care a lot. I love a lot. I love being black. But I hate trying to convince, or we seem to have to try to convince you that it's okay for me to love me. Why isn't it okay? I'm not going to ever be white, and I don't want to look like remember back in the day, what was that chick that Cheryl Teagues that put braids in her hair and all of a sudden braids came a white girl thing? No, they will take over our shit as soon as we start making money on it. When we was out when locks first came out, you used to go anywhere and sit at somebody's table and get your locks done. Go to Harlem, go to Brooklyn, go somewhere. When I came to Jersey wearing locks, they were like, what them things? A black woman, a black judge, I ain't even gonna say her name, said, what them things in your head? And then when they saw how much money these African girls was making, all of a sudden you had to have a cosmetology license to braid hair. When black people have been braiding hair since for given their time, but when they see that you gonna make some money doing something that they can't do, then they're gonna say you gotta have a license to do it. Yeah, did I go all over the place? Yeah, because we are all over the place as black people in America. We got to prove so much every day. It's freaking exhausting. I love you guys. I'm gonna be back later, and I'm gonna try not to be in my feelings, but because I love you, I feel for you, and nothing you can do about it. I just gotta try to find a way to get us in the same conversation, to talk about the real issues. Stop the shiny things. Stop the distraction with the shiny things and all the pomp and circumstance. Because if we forget how and why he died, this shit has all been in vain. And Oprah and Tyler and Floyd Mayweather and all of those people, they would have spent their money well, but wasn't well for us. It was well for this one man who doesn't get the benefit of none of that. He don't get the benefit of none of that. It all looks wonderful on TV. How many more Floyds are we going to have? How many more? Give his kids an education. Somebody can afford to do that. Tyler can afford to do that. Hell, Oprah put 400 African girls through school, and while she was putting African Americans through school too. So don't even get twisted. When Tyler Perry go in and buy everybody groceries in a Walmart, Tyler, build a goddamn Walmart. Call it Tyler Mart, and let us black people go there and buy our food. Walmart is some more of Trump supporters. Target, I mean, you can stop saying, okay, I'm not going to go there. No, there's where you're going to get the cheapest thing, so you ain't going to go and buy it here. That's why we got these mass stores, Targets, Walmart, Mormons own BJ's, Sam's Club, all that stockpiling. That's stockpiling because we ain't stockpiling. They stockpiling for this war. We don't know all that's going on because it's going on in the back end. They know what they doing. We just don't know why they doing it. But we in that store giving up our money. I said I was going to stop, didn't I? I'm going to stop right now. I'm going to stop right now. And I'm going to go tell y'all, go over and look at them Hog twins. These light-skinned black brothers, they crazy as hell. But they represent too many of us. Go look at them, and I'm going to ask y'all this afternoon, did you go look at the Hog twins? And then they Hodge twins. Maybe I'm calling them Hog because I'm pissed. ODGE is their name, twins, on Facebook. They're talking out their asses. Okay? Yeah. I love you, folk. Yeah. The shiny things, I'm waiting for the light to go black. And then I'll see who's still standing center stage. Deuces.